Hey everybody, I'm Jammer, and welcome to another Super Smash Bros. Ultimate character video. If you haven't already seen the previous episodes in the series, I talk about Ridley, I talk about Inkling, I go in depth in their movesets, and the stuff that I like, stuff that I notice, kind of overviewing my thoughts from playing these characters. And due to the many requests in the last episode, today we're going to be talking about my time with Link, and the changes that the character has brought here. Obviously, he's been around since the series has started, and has seen different changes throughout. His biggest change was when he was brought over to Melee, and he got his boomerang as well as his arrows, and really unified his entire moveset. Then of course he was revamped for Brawl when in his Twilight Incarnate. This is where he got his Gale Boomerang and the aesthetical properties of that character. This was then brought over to Wii U, and now with Smash Bros. Ultimate, they're going to be representing Breath of the Wild. So a lot of things had to change in order to better represent that character. Because, well, he doesn't have a traditional boomerang, he doesn't have a hook shot, he doesn't use the traditional bombs. So a lot of tweaks were made to this character to better represent that version of Link. So while we're talking about it, let's go over the move changes that have come to this character. First is his down B being the remote bomb. Previous versions of him, his bombs were just like time bombs. You pull it out and you have a couple seconds until it's gonna go off. So either you can throw it, drop it, or get it away from you because it will explode on top of you. Well, now he summoned it, it's just like an item. It just sits in your hand and will never go off until triggered. You could just throw it to the side on the stage, you could leave it in your hand. Heck, the enemy could even pick it up and try to throw it back at you. Once you're ready to set it off, you click down B again to trigger the remote bomb, just like you do in Breath of the Wild. I'm not entirely sure if the bomb is, if it's near any explosive stuff and all that goes off, if it'll also trigger the bomb. I didn't really have a situation like that, but from what I could tell anyways, yeah, that bomb will not go off until you set it off. I unfortunately didn't get a chance to test bomb jumping with Link to, get that extra boost of a jump where, you blow yourself up to reset your up B. Theoretically, I think it would work similar, assuming you can activate down B in air. I don't see why not though, because you can do side B and regular B, so I'm sure it's gonna work. Next up is his throw, because like I previously mentioned, he has no hook shot this time around. So his throw is really just similar to most characters. A lot of the end animation of how he throws the character are very similar to what they were when he had hook shot. Like his down throw is where he kind of like body slams on top of him. He's got the kick for his back throw and whatnot. The difference here is just it's no longer a tether grab, which is kind of unfortunate because that was such a unique trait of Link. However, now there are two other versions of Link that have the hookshot, Toon Link and now Young Link. So if you're looking for more of a traditional kind of Link moveset with the hookshot, you have options, obviously. So yes, he is limited a little bit in his horizontal recovery because of this change, but I think they made some tweaks to his up B where it's not as vertical, so he can kind of hover a little bit more horizontally to kind of make up for the fact that he really has no other horizontal recovery otherwise. Okay, next up is the boomerang, which is no longer the Gale Boomerang. It can be thrown a very long distance and acts similar to how Melee's did, where it'd throw out very far, and then if you jump out of the way, it can go behind you and try to come around that way. From what I can tell, it looks like it goes a lot farther than the Gale Boomerang does, and a lot farther than it did in Melee anyways. It can go well over 2/3 the distance of Final Destination, which I think is some amazing range. It is a shame that the Gale Boomerang does have to go to the wayside because it was so fun to get crazy weird situations with combos where the wind would either pull your opponent towards you or pull you towards your opponent with charging a smash attack or something. But again, it wouldn't really make sense to have him use that because he doesn't even use this boomerang in the game, let alone the Gale Boomerang. So it's a change that kind of had to be made to better represent the character. And finally, the last big change to his moveset is the arrows. This is a really awesome callback to the inventory management of Breath of the Wild. So arrows shoot off just like they always have been, where you click neutral B, the longer you hold it, the longer it charges, so you max up and charge it, and then it'll shoot its max distance and its max damage. It's really all the same there. The new gimmick is being able to shoot 2 arrows at once. So your first arrow shot, if missed or left on the stage, or shot off really intentionally short range, you can actually walk up to where it's shot into the stage and pick it up, just as any other item with the A button. Matter of fact, even enemies can pick it up and use it as an item as well. Once it's in your hand, just like any other item, you could throw it, you could drop it. But the interesting gimmick here is if you actually activate arrows again with neutral B, you'll take the arrow that was in your item hand and use it to shoot 2 arrows off at once. All the same properties apply with charging up and stuff like that. Because there's 2 being shot off, it's actually double the damage of a normal arrow. So for spacing techniques, I could really see you dropping off the first arrow in front of you, picking it up, and then using it to kind of zone out and shoot across the stage. This arrow either could be just thrown out for a quicker move. So as you can see, with all these changes to Link's moveset, a lot of them are just orienting around item management. Items, because that's all Link's ever been. He's always been projectiles, he's always been using all his different tools from his games, and now more than ever it's been stressing the fact of Link using his specials to keep his opponent at distance. He can like leave a remote bomb on half of the stage and really just take up that whole area. Like, okay, if you go over there, I'm gonna fire it up. So it kind of forces the opponent to be in a certain spot, so then you can either combo them or use a certain move on them. The boomerang having more distance, of course, gives you more options with quick projectiles. And then the new arrow mechanics, which I think is just such an awesome callback to how Breath of the Wild works. But it's kind of cool being able to like pick up items and use that to enhance your character throughout battle like you would in Breath of the Wild. Now some quick other notes I just want to mention about the character. So it's obvious, Link also is now defaultly in the Champion's tunic for Breath of the Wild. His alt costumes include different color variations like red or blue, which are actually more callbacks to like the Highland tunic as well as the Royal Guard uniform for Breath of the Wild. He also has his traditional green tunic, but it's the Hero of the Wild set from Breath of the Wild. Just like in Smash 4, he does have costumes that represent Fierce Deity Link as well as Dark Link. And also from that game, he does have the costume representing the pajama costumes from Skyward Sword. There also is another green tunic costume that's more like a Viridian color to kind of represent the Twilight Princess era of Link, but it's more of a callback than a direct costume anyways. Overall, Link just kind of stands up entirely different. This is a brand new model and rig for the character, where you can tell in a lot of his moves, it visually look different than they did in Smash 4. His dash attack is a great example, to where he kind of like lifts his leg up as he slashes it, rather than the jump attack from what it was in Twilight. Another cool tweak is the Master Sword glows during certain attacks, kind of like when evil is nearby or present. And speaking of the Master Sword, awesome callback, awesome Easter egg, is now that when Link is at 0%, his Master Sword will fire off beams, just like it does in the original games, where if Link is at 100% health, he can fire off little sword beams from the Master Sword. It's a very small touch because not often are you at 0% in Smash, but it gives Link another option, another projectile to his arsenal, and it's just such a great callback, you know? But honestly, the biggest change, the most important change I want to talk about, the thing I left for the end, and this drastically changes the character forever. And that is, he's right-handed, man. Look, I know he was right-handed in Breath of the Wild, blah, 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 but I'm still not over the fact they made him right-handed. He's always been left. He was only right in Skyward because of the motion controls thing. Why did they make him right-handed again? I don't know why this bothers me as much as it does. It really shouldn't. Anyways, I think that's everything covering Link. A brief overview of the character, his new moves, as well as my thoughts on from playing him. It'll take a little getting used to, but overall he still feels very the same. In the recent years, I've always started to prefer Young Link or Toon Link over Link, just because I always felt that he was kind of slower by comparison, and I really preferred that speed. So because of that, it still felt very much the same, where he feels like the slower version, does a little bit more damage, packs a bit of more of a punch. That with all these new specials, he really differentiates himself from Toon Link even more, and especially differentiates himself from Young Link, who's now going to be coming back. But that's everything I wanted to talk about Link. Let me know in the comments, what character do you want me to see talk about next? We already talked about all the newcomers, and now we're starting to get into the veterans that ever see some changes. But beyond that, there's still plenty of characters from the demo that I had a chance to play. We could talk about some other returning veterans from a long time ago, like Snake, Ice Climbers, Pokemon Trainer, or we could talk about some more characters that have received some changes, like Zelda. Let me know that in the comments. Be sure to give this video a big awesome like, and if you haven't already, definitely subscribe for tons more on Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. In addition to that, be sure to stay tuned for the live stream tomorrow of the Splatfest in Splatoon 2. We're going to be streaming at 9 AM Pacific for you international people, so be sure to check us out, come around this channel then, and hang out and have a good time. We'll sure have a lot of fun with that. Anyways guys, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. See ya!
Now wait just there a second. You did an episode on Link before you did an episode on me? I mean, you even advertised me in the first episode of this series.
Look, Ganondorf, I know, you'll get your turn, I promise, don't worry.
Did I mention I have this cool new sword? I use it in fighting this time. It's pretty impressive, don't you think?
Yeah, we know. Okay, look, we'll get to you soon enough. Just people have been asking for other characters.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I understand that, but I mean, come on. I mean, look, it's a sword.
Look, the video's over. We're not talking about this right now.